I explained how it was actually possible to survive on a plant-based diet and only on a plant-based diet.
Varying proportions, as in almost nothing or trace amounts in plant foods. This is such a misleading statement.
It's stored in a plastic jug. A plastic jug. Almond milk is high in oxalates. Soy milk is high in soy, which is also estrogenic. Also, to those who thought that seed milks or plant-based milks are actually better than actual milk, it's hard to say, but they're not actually. Oh no, stop eating so much meat because your cholesterol is gonna go high. Okay, well, what are you cooking your meat in then? Oh, I use vegetable oil and sometimes I use butter. I can't believe it's not butter. Well, there's your problem right there. Meat doesn't cause cholesterol to rise. Well, it does cause your HDL to rise, but that's good cholesterol. What's supposed to be inside of us. The bad cholesterol is LDL. Vegetable oil and butter that is not grass-fed is the main cause. Just popping your steak on the pan to let it cook with its own fat is better that way. Use grass-fed butter if you love butter, and if you want to use oil, best case scenario, just use olive oil. In the glass container, please. The thing is though, what we cook meat in is what actually causes our cholesterol to rise. Not meat itself, it's what we cook meat with that causes our cholesterol to rise. Of course, you can't really go wrong with fruits and honey. I mean, make an acai bowl or something. Fruits are pretty delicious. Ever seen those cartoons or those movies where the little child is neglecting to eat their vegetables? This actually makes sense. Why? Because we were never used to eating straight up vegetables in the past. Think about it. Would you eat a plate of fresh cut up blueberries, apples, bananas, and even the best one of all, watermelon? Or a plate of straight up lettuce and spinach? In a split second, you would obviously eat the fruit plate. Don't lie, you would obviously go for the fruit plate. Because our brain automatically knows what's going to taste good and what might not. If you were a caveman back in the caveman days, obviously you'd be drawn to the more colorful fruits in the trees rather than looking on the ground for some vegetables. Sure, vegetables are good in some ways and we could eat them every now and again, but it makes more sense why we prefer eating colorful fruits over grass-looking vegetables. Vegetables also have something called oxalates that could damage your kidneys, but I can't really wrap my head around that. And I don't really know about it much, but anyway. You think they were looking for stuff on the ground to eat? No. They would obviously look for other varieties of other stuff, you know? Heck, they wouldn't even look for vegetables because every vegetable you come across would look like grass. Like, literally every vegetable is green. Lettuce, cilantro, spinach, all that stuff. It literally looks like part of the ground. It wouldn't even look tasty because pretty much, I'm guessing, cavemen back in the day didn't even know that it was edible. They just looked for the colorful fruits that actually looked edible. We all eat vegetables with something, not just by themselves. Have you ever eaten a plate of lettuce by itself? No. We prefer to eat different variations of foods, but more specifically, we would rather eat fruits instead of vegetables. Makes sense why those little kids in the cartoons never want to eat their vegetables because, well, our brain knows damn well that we don't like vegetables, even though we're forced to eat them. Now, honey is pretty simple. Honey is good and tasty, but don't buy fake honey. Just buy raw, fresh honey. I mean, who wouldn't resist taking some honeycomb and just eating it straight up? Now, apparently drinking normal pasteurized milk in the plastic jug isn't really the best option in forms of vitamins or something called estrogen. Like I said earlier, the milk in the plastic jugs aren't actually really that great for us, although we could still drink it and all that stuff like that, but we don't actually know what's going on inside our body after we drink it. So the cow's milk you might be drinking may have high levels of estrogen, which for a guy might not be the best. Same thing goes for the plastic it's in. It's crazy to think that all plastics, most plastic actually, have high levels of estrogen. I mean, but that's another video right there. Pasteurizing the milk, which is basically boiling it, actually messes up the protein inside of it, getting rid of the actual vitamins that would benefit us and some of the proteins in the process. Yeah, basically just boiling it to get rid of bad things inside, but I mean, it removes good vitamins in the process. Both getting rid of the good vitamins from pasteurization and just the milk carton itself, and the cow being grain-fed. All this is just a recipe for disaster. I'm surprised many people don't really know. They just buy a gallon of milk and just drink it. Like, come on now. Our ancestors probably used to drink it raw and straight from the cow's udder. Now, okay, maybe they might have not, but you get the point. Low-fat milk is the main one because most of the fat is removed from that milk, but is actually replaced with sugar. Especially the ones served in school. Ever seen those milk cartons, so-called fat-free? Yeah, these bad boys are filled up with sugar. Supposedly, they're supposed to be healthier because they have no fat. But if you remove the fat from the milk, it kind of just makes it tasteless. And so what do? They add sugar for some taste. Why remove the one thing that is actually good for us, which is the fat in the milk, and replace it with something bad for us? That being sugar. And thinking it would be healthier. Everything is pretty much self-explanatory. Grass-fed beef is better because it has more vitamins, especially eating liver. Meat doesn't really cause the increase in bad cholesterol. You cook the meat with, that actually does. And last but not least, meat is actually generally good for us. It's the best source of protein we need, and the amount of nutrients it has is also good for us. And the fruit is good because, well, I mean, it can be. Also because of all the vitamins and all this stuff like that. And honey, well, honey is honey. It's beneficial in many ways as well. Now you're probably thinking, aw, come on now, like plant-based diets have to work, right? It should save the planet, right? Well, that's the thing. It doesn't. The hard truth is that going vegan won't actually save much. Sure, it could make you a little bit healthier, but it won't actually help you survive in the long run. The vegetables and fruit you might be eating do have a lot of nutrients in them, but not enough for your body to actually keep it going. Just eating fruits and vegetables will most likely not help you survive. There have been countless stories of vegans, including in the documentary, that people were forced to go back onto eating meat because their body just could not keep up with just eating fruits and vegetables. Their body had to have some actual vitamins from meat. Their body just lacked the amount of nutrients needed for someone to survive. Now, with all this, you probably have a lot of questions in your head, and you probably are wondering, what does this mean for you? Have to change to a carnivore diet? Do you have to give up a lot of stuff? Well, no, actually. Will eating vegetables kill you? Not really, unless you have a lot of them, so just don't have too many vegetables. Every now and again, have some potatoes, some spinach, some lettuce. Don't overdo it. I pretty much live in a Mexican household myself, and we pretty much eat everything. You got them enchiladas, pozole, tacos, menudo, tamales. You got everything, man. Carnivore diet may seem overwhelming for some because people may believe that other foods they've eaten are actually bad and they have to get rid of it, and they only have to eat like fruits, meat, raw dairy, and honey. But that's the thing. Some foods you don't really actually have to give up. You don't have to give up like traditional food, because in some cultures they have to eat those certain things that, even though they're technically bad for us, you still have to eat them. But as long as your diet is made up of the food mentioned earlier, then you're pretty much good to go. The dose is what makes the poison. Eating too much of one thing is basically what makes something bad in the first place. You don't necessarily have to give up some of your favorite foods. Personally, I actually like peanut butter. I'll just say it right here. I actually like peanut butter. I know it's bad for me because since it's nuts, it's high in oxalates and other stuff like that. But I only have it like once a week. Having it every day would be the big problem. I can't believe the Game Changers made me make this video. Like, man, looking back, I realized that I pretty much done goofed myself. But that's the thing. You can't really believe everything you see on the internet. A freaking documentary that had more budget than actual facts made me almost go vegetarian myself. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I literally almost went plant-based, but thankfully, I found other sources as well. Another lesson for the day: don't believe everything you see on the internet. Do your own research at the end of the day, and most importantly, have fun while doing it.